Raphael couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Are you serious, Mom?" he shouted into the phone when he received his mother's call. How did this conversation about me marrying my sister-in-law come up? Raphael was 25 years old and completely confused. He answered the phone thinking it would be a routine call from his mother, but suddenly she said, "Raphael, how are you? Listen, this is a bit sudden, but would you marry Laura?" "What? What are you talking about? Why are you saying something like this out of the blue?" Raphael was so shocked that he shouted. His mother, unfazed by his reaction, continued. "Well, you see, Laura seems to be having a hard time raising her daughter alone. Lorena from the neighborhood said she went to help Laura, who just had a baby." That's when Raphael became curious about what Lorena, who had always been a busybody, had witnessed. Lorena had always been a nosy old lady, unable to ignore anyone in the neighborhood who was having trouble. Laura lived about 3 hours away from their home, and because she was busy raising her daughter, they only saw each other during extended holidays, like Thanksgiving. This year, during Thanksgiving, Raphael had a great time playing with his 3-year-old niece, Amanda. But the fact that Lorena had told Raphael's mother something made him concerned about Laura's situation. "What happened to Laura?" he asked. According to Lorena, Laura was sitting on a bench in the park, letting Amanda play. She didn't even move when Amanda called her. She looked very tired. "I see. Laura is always smiling, but it must be exhausting." "She's doing everything on her own," Raphael said, holding the phone to his ear. Raphael thought about Laura. He met her during his last year of college when his brother Miguel introduced her. Miguel was 5 years older, and although their relationship wasn't particularly good or bad, the age difference and their distinct personalities meant they didn't hang out much. Miguel preferred reading books or doing crafts, while Raphael was a typical baseball kid, involved in youth leagues and immersed in the sport. Miguel, being smart and good at studying, helped Raphael with his homework when he was in elementary school. "Raphael, do you have any study guides for the entrance exams? If not, do you want to use mine, bro? I don't think I'll understand even if I look at the study guides. Can you teach me?" During the entrance exams for high school, Raphael prioritized club activities until the last minute and wasn't confident about the written tests. So he preferred being taught by Miguel, who was already a college student, instead of going to a cram school. With Miguel's help, Raphael managed to pass the exam for the school he wanted and was extremely happy about it. "That's great, Raphael. You worked hard." Raphael felt embarrassed but happy with Miguel's smile. Since then, they started talking more. Miguel, always one step ahead, became a role model for Raphael. He was stubborn, but Raphael liked his kind brother. When Raphael was in his first year of college, Miguel, now 27, called him. "Laura, Raphael, I want to introduce you to someone." Miguel's voice on the phone sounded embarrassed and shy, as if he was trying to hold back a smile. "Seriously, bro, a girlfriend? That's amazing, I want to meet her." "She's my girlfriend, well, now she is. I want to marry her, that's what I'm thinking." At 27, Miguel had a calm and intellectual aura that made him popular with women, though he wasn't aware of his own appeal. Raphael was eager to meet the woman Miguel had chosen, especially since he was considering marriage. "Marriage is a big deal. I can't wait to meet her. When will you introduce her? I'm planning to come home for New Year's. Will you be there?" "Yes, I will be. My part-time job is off for that." "Got it. I'll call you again when I have more details." After hanging up, Raphael told his parents, and it seemed like they already knew. They were as excited as he was. In anticipation of New Year's, they cleaned the house and did some shopping. Finally, the day arrived when Miguel would bring his girlfriend. Everyone was restless after Miguel called to say they were almost there. When the doorbell rang, they even debated over who should answer it. Eventually, Raphael decided to open the door. "Raphael, it's been a while. How are our parents?" "They're great." "Oh, and you must be his girlfriend." Nice to meet you. Laura, nervous, was standing behind Miguel when Rafael spoke to her. Laura stepped forward and responded politely. Nice to meet you, I'm Laura. I'm dating Miguel. Sorry for crashing your New Year's family gathering. Thank you so much for letting me come. Rafael had a good impression of Laura, who greeted them politely. Despite her nervousness, she had fair skin and big eyes with an endearingly feline quality. Rafael found her genuinely beautiful, and it seemed his parents thought the same. Oh my God, she's so lovely, Dad. Isn't she lovely, Laura? Your future mother-in-law seems to really like you. Rafael thought to himself that typical mother-in-law and daughter-in-law issues probably wouldn't exist in their house. Indeed, she's a charming young woman. Let's not stay at the entrance, please come in. Rafael's father was smiling like never before. He once said that raising 2 boys was fun, but he always wanted to raise a girl too. He said this while slightly drunk. I'm looking forward to you and Miguel finding wives. At the time, Rafael had just ended a relationship, so he could only respond with an awkward smile. Let's go in, and Laura, I know it's hard not to be nervous. But if I may say, you'll find everyone in our family very kind. Miguel, usually a kind person, seemed to reserve a special expression just for Laura. She had truly found a great guy. Then, everyone introduced themselves a bit nervously and enjoyed a meal together. Rafael's mother was incredibly enthusiastic, preparing many of Miguel's favorite dishes. They had a great time looking at photo albums and spending time together. It was fun today. Thank you for meeting Laura. Laura is a wonderful person. Take good care of her, bro. Will do, Miguel proudly declared, and Laura smiled shyly but looked very happy. Rafael's parents and he saw them off, and a happy day came to an end. After that, their relationship progressed smoothly, and a year later. Rafa, I'm so happy to become part of your family. Can I call you brother from now on? Of course. I'm fine with the term brother too. It would be weird if Rafael suddenly started calling me big brother now, right? I'll probably keep calling you brother even when we're old and gray. Well, that's fine with me, even when we're old, Rafael fist-bumped Miguel. Watching the ceremony until the end, seeing them vow their eternal love at the chapel, was so emotional that Rafael cried a bit. To be honest, it wasn't just a bit, he cried a lot. After the wedding, Miguel and Laura lived happily, and everyone got along well as an extended family. 5 years after the wedding, Miguel called to say he had something important to share and asked if they could come over to their parents' house. At the time, Rafael was at work and only found out when he got home, but he noticed that his mother, normally cheerful, seemed different. What's wrong, Mom? You look more down than usual. Did something happen? Rafael's mother, usually optimistic and smiling, looked worried. I'm a bit concerned. Miguel sounded so lifeless on the phone, different from usual. All Rafael could do was vaguely nod. He couldn't imagine Miguel being down. He had always been calm, but being calm was different from being drained. Thinking they would understand better when they met, Rafael tried to reassure his mother. Maybe he's just tired from work. We'll find out when we see them. This seemed to calm her a little. That's true. There's no reason to worry right now. They're coming this Saturday, so let's prepare a delicious meal to cheer them up. On Saturday, about 15 minutes after Miguel sent a message saying they were almost there, they arrived at the front door. Their smiles froze when they saw Miguel, who had lost a significant amount of weight. He had always been slim, but now he looked as though he had never needed a diet. Hey, long time no see. You must be surprised, right? I lost a bit of weight. Miguel was smiling, but he looked tired. Come in, you must be exhausted, Rafael said. Miguel, gently supported by Laura, walked into the living room. They sat in silence until Rafael's mother served tea. After a slow sip, Miguel began to speak. Sorry for the shock, I've lost a lot of weight. Losing weight really drains your energy. What happened? Was it a heat stroke? Raphael's mother asked, concerned. No, it wasn't a heat stroke. Terminal cancer. They said I have 1 year to live. Miguel talked about something incredible as if it were nothing. He said it with the same casualness as someone asking about dinner or commenting on the weather. Naturally, Raphael's parents and he were frozen. They didn't know how long they stayed that way, but they came back to their senses when Laura started sobbing. Raphael moistened his dry mouth with tea and began to speak. Probably, his father or mother should have asked, but they were still in shock. Raphael had to be strong and start the conversation, knowing that everyone probably had the same questions on their minds. Terminal really means incurable? No surgery or chemotherapy? Raphael asked. Miguel answered calmly. Yes, there's nothing that can be done. I sought second opinions, hoping to prolong my life, but after visiting 4 hospitals, they all said the same thing. I'm tired of it all. Laura was crying silently beside him. They had just built a house and were excited about their careers. Everything was going well, but suddenly, Miguel's life had a deadline. That was the hardest part. Is there anything we can do? Anything we can help with? Raphael's mother asked, despite her tears, looking directly into Miguel's eyes. There's a lot, but the most immediate request is about Laura. Miguel looked at Laura with his usual smile. Laura is pregnant. Hearing this, Raphael couldn't hold back his tears. A strange sound came from his throat as he realized he was crying. The tears wouldn't stop flowing. Raphael's mother also started crying loudly. Raphael buried his face in his sleeve like a child. Will you be able to see your child, even if just for a moment? His father asked for all of them. I plan to see the baby. I want to be there at all costs. I hope to be present for at least the first 6 months after the birth. While wiping his tears, Miguel was smiling. Laura was also smiling beside him. Raphael couldn't stop thinking about how long they must have talked and cried before telling the family. The thought made him cry again. It will be hard after the baby is born, won't it? I plan to attend parenting classes and share the baby's upbringing. Since Laura doesn't have parents, we can ask for help after the birth. Don't worry, leave that to us. We'll be there for you, Laura. Will you trust me? Yes, of course. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Dad, Mom. I haven't been a good son, and everything is all wrong, right?
Sorry, Rafe.
I don't think I'll be able to drink with you when we're old. Don't worry about that, Miguel. We'll take care of everything, Raphael replied, hugging his brother tightly. On Saturday, about 15 minutes after Miguel sent a message saying they were almost there, they arrived at the front door. Their smiles froze when they saw Miguel, who had lost a significant amount of weight. He had always been slim, but now he looked as though he had never needed a diet. Hey, long time no see. You must be surprised, right? I lost a bit of weight. Miguel was smiling, but he looked tired. Come in, you must be exhausted, Raphael said. Miguel, gently supported by Laura, walked into the living room. They sat in silence until Raphael's mother served tea. After a slow sip, Miguel began to speak. Sorry for the shock, I've lost a lot of weight. Losing weight really drains your energy. What happened? Was it a heat stroke? The mother asked, worried. No, it wasn't a heat stroke. Terminal cancer. They said I have a year to live. Miguel spoke about something incredible as if it were nothing. He said it with the same casualness as someone asking about dinner or commenting on the weather. Naturally, Raphael's parents and he were frozen. They didn't know how long they stayed like that, but they snapped out of it when Laura sobbed. Raphael moistened his dry mouth with tea and began to speak. Probably, his father or mother should have asked, but they were still in shock. Raphael had to be strong and start the conversation, as he knew they all probably had the same questions in mind. Terminal is really incurable? No surgery or chemotherapy? Raphael asked. Miguel replied calmly. Yes, nothing can be done. I sought second opinions, hoping to prolong my life, but after visiting 4 hospitals, they all said the same thing. I'm tired of everything. Laura was crying silently beside him. They had just built a house and were excited about their careers. Everything was going well, but suddenly, Miguel's life had a set deadline. That was the hardest part. Is there anything we can do? Anything we can help with? The mother asked, despite her tears, looking directly into Miguel's eyes. There is a lot, but the most immediate request is about Laura. Miguel looked at Laura with his usual smile. Laura is pregnant. Hearing this, Rafael couldn't hold back his tears. A strange sound came from his throat as he realized he was crying. The tears wouldn't stop flowing. Rafael's mother also started crying loudly. Rafael buried his face in his sleeve, like a child. Will you be able to see your child, even if just for a moment? The father asked for all of them. I intend to see the baby. I want to be there at all costs. I hope to be present for at least the first 6 months after the birth. While wiping away tears, Miguel was smiling. Laura was also smiling beside him. Rafael couldn't stop thinking about how long they had talked and cried before telling the family. The thought made him cry again. It will be difficult after the baby is born, right? I plan to attend parenting classes and share the baby's upbringing. Since Laura doesn't have parents, we can ask for help after the birth. Don't worry, leave that to us. We'll be there for you, Laura. Will you trust me? Yes, of course. Thank you very much. Sorry, Dad, Mom. I haven't been a good son, and the order of things is all wrong, right?
Sorry, Rafe.
I guess I won't be able to drink with you when we're old. Don't worry about that, Miguel. We'll take care of everything, Rafael replied, hugging his brother tightly. Miguel apologized by referencing Rafael, who managed to smile through his tears. I'll drink for you, bro. Do that for me, but don't overdo it, okay? Miguel extended his hand and messed up Rafael's hair. His hand was Miguel's, but the wrist coming out of the sleeve was thin. This conversation wasn't a lie or a dream, it was reality. Rafael cried again. He wanted to rebel by saying he wasn't a child to be comforted, but maybe this was the last time Miguel would comfort him. Maybe there was still time, but he could enjoy being comforted a little longer. Bro, I'll mess up your hair as much as you want until the time comes, said Miguel happily, continuing to mess up Rafael's hair. His parents and he were visibly affected and could hear his parents sniffing louder, but Rafael didn't care. Miguel probably didn't either. After being comforted by Miguel for as long as necessary, he and Laura left. The whole family was worried about them going home. I may have lost some strength and get tired more easily, but I want to live as normally as possible. For now, don't worry. I'll make sure he's careful, Laura assured repeatedly. They asked her to take good care of Miguel and watch them leave. As soon as they left, Rafael's mother collapsed in tears. Why? Why does it have to be him? Why does he have to go through this? She cried like Rafael had never seen before. He also wanted to cry and scream, especially now that they were expecting a child. Even his father, who seemed calm, knelt beside his mother and cried. Rafael knelt and hugged his parents. We'll do everything we can. We'll support Miguel and Laura in every possible way. I don't know how or what we can do, but we'll do our best. His tearful words made his parents agree. They decided 3 things during the family meeting: not to impose their opinions on Miguel and Laura, to support whatever they wanted to do, and to offer financial assistance within a limit that wouldn't be burdensome. They were careful to give Miguel and Laura space, but they stayed involved in their lives. When Laura had severe morning sickness, Rafael's mother stayed with her overnight, and either Rafael or his father accompanied her to the hospital when necessary. As Laura's pregnancy progressed to 8 months, Miguel found strength in talking with Laura and supporting their growing child. Then one night, the home phone rang. Everyone jumped up, startled, and Raphael took care of his mother, who was paralyzed with shock, while his father answered the phone.
Hello?
Laura?
Yes, yes.
The tension in his father's voice gave Raphael and his mother a foreboding feeling. Raphael's mother clutched his shirt sleeve.
I understand, we'll be there immediately. They are there, Laura. We're on our way.
His father reassured Laura repeatedly, and Raphael realized that the moment had come sooner than they had expected.
A bro is not well.
He suddenly got worse and lost consciousness. They asked the family to come to the hospital. Raphael cried, unable to hold back his emotions. He felt incredibly frustrated.
Let's say goodbye properly. Let's get dressed quickly.
Dad, should I drive?
It might be safer, he tried to speak calmly.
This seemed to motivate his parents to move.
Would you mind? No, Dad. Let's hurry.
They drove through the night to the hospital. It took about 3 hours on the highway. Raphael wished the hospital were closer. Miguel and Laura trusted the doctors there greatly, so they kept the promise not to interfere with their choice of hospital. When they arrived, they passed through the night reception and were taken to Miguel's room. It was a simple room where his thin brother lay in bed, looking as if he might stop breathing at any moment. Laura was by his bedside, crying and holding his hand.
Look, everyone is here. Your dad, your mom, and Raphael.
Miguel, you were so brave despite all the hardships. Raphael's parents spoke one after the other while he stood frozen, unable to say goodbye.
It was Laura who gently held his hand.
Rafa, please say goodbye to Miguel. Though she was crying, her grip was strong.
Laura was suffering more.
She would have to raise the child alone now.
Raphael couldn't afford to be afraid.
He nodded and let Laura lead him.
Bro, you worked so hard.
It was a bit sudden at the end, but I'll never forget you. Don't worry about Laura and the baby. We'll take good care of them, so it's okay. He squeezed Miguel's hand firmly, hoping it would reassure him. He wiped away his tears and Laura spoke to Miguel.
Thank you for all the happiness.
Our time together might have been shorter than others, but I was happy.
I will continue to be happy from now on too. I will make sure our child is happy. Thank you.
Everyone cried uncontrollably. It seemed Miguel waited for everyone's goodbyes before passing away peacefully. After that, Raphael cried so much that he honestly doesn't remember how the time passed. When he came to, everything was over and a small altar for Miguel was set up in their house. Every day they gathered as a family, prayed at the altar, and talked about Miguel.
Laura, not much longer now.
We're so excited. Yes, but are you okay going back to the house Miguel built alone?
It's worrisome, but it's what Laura wants.
Indeed, Laura had refused the suggestion to stay with them until after the birth and recovery.
I want to be in the house Miguel built for us.
For now, that's what I need. With tears in her eyes, Laura said this, and they couldn't insist. They just asked her to contact them if anything happened and kept an appropriate distance. Then, while Raphael and his parents were discussing that it was almost time, they received a message from Laura. She was in labor and on her way to the hospital, asking Raphael's mother to come.
Raphael's mother got ready quickly. Dad, get the car ready. Let's go.
Raphael, you can stay home.
Of course, I'm not a child anymore.
I'll be fine, Raphael replied, watching his mother hurry.
Raphael felt relieved. She had been quite down.
After his parents left, Raphael prayed at Miguel's altar.
Bro, Laura is doing well. Please root for her.
Around 2 in the morning the next day, he received a call from his mother.
She's born. A beautiful girl.
Laura is tired, but she is fine. Raphael felt a deep sense of relief. Tears of joy ran down his face.
That's great, really great. Yes, it's great.
Raphael couldn't say anything else, and after hanging up, he prayed again at Miguel's altar.
Bro, you and Laura did a great job.
This is wonderful. Somehow, even Miguel's photo seemed content. Rafael met his niece Amanda about 3 weeks after she was discharged from the hospital. His mother had said that a woman's body after childbirth was like having been in a car accident, which really scared him. "Thank you, Rafael," Laura said, apologizing as she leaned against the bed with the baby in her arms. "I'm single and don't know much, but I've heard that a woman's body after childbirth really needs to be cared for. So please trust my mother and rest."
Thank you.
"Your mother has been taking care of everything.
That's natural.
You are now our dear daughter and gave us a granddaughter."
Rafael, this is Amanda. Miguel chose the name.
Laura offered for Rafael to hold the baby, but he refused with all his might.
It was too scary.
He couldn't bear the thought of something happening to this delicate creature because of him. What would he say to his brother?
No, no.
This is too much for me. What if something happens? Rafael's panic made the women laugh, but his father understood his fear.
I understand, Rafael.
I was the same when Miguel was born. Rafael agreed with his father and asked to take a photo with his phone instead. "Let me hold her when she's a little stronger."
Can I take a photo?
Sure, take as many as you want. She was so adorable up close that Rafael took numerous photos. Suddenly, she opened her eyes and somehow looked like Miguel, which brought tears to his eyes. Rafael reminisced about everything that had happened. Amanda was now 4 years old and developing well. Laura had been raising Amanda alone while working, and she seemed fine on the last visit. If something were wrong, Rafael thought it best to show up unexpectedly instead of calling first. So this time, he decided not to inform Laura in advance about his visit to her house. Normally that would be rude, which was why Rafael usually didn't do that. While thinking about this, he arrived at the house Miguel had built, where Laura and Amanda now lived alone. He pressed the intercom button and heard Amanda's footsteps running inside the house.
1 minute.
Amanda, don't open the door by yourself.
It's Uncle Rafael.
Ignoring Laura's words, Amanda quickly opened the door.
Rafael, what brings you here?
Laura looked tired.
Hi, Laura. It's been a while.
I came to take Amanda for a while. His sudden offer surprised Laura.
Take her?
What do you mean? Laura, you're overexerting yourself. How much have you been sleeping?
Are you eating properly?
When he decided to have this conversation, Rafael made sure not to sound like he was blaming Laura. She was trying to handle everything on her own, and it was crucial that she didn't feel criticized. Otherwise, she would just keep trying harder on her own. Can you notify the daycare that she'll be absent for 3 days? I know you have to work, so I'll take Amanda. I got tickets to that theme park and hotel she wanted to visit. We'll be away for 2 nights, so you can let the daycare know she'll be missing. Rafa showed Amanda the tickets with her favorite characters. Amanda, how about going to this park with Uncle Rafael? Recognizing the theme park, Amanda was ecstatic. Let's go with Uncle Rafael, Mommy.
Mommy will rest.
Okay, it might be hard for your 4-year-old niece to understand, but Rafael explained that her mother also needed to rest. Amanda looked curiously at Rafael's face and then at Laura before smiling cheerfully.
Okay, Mommy.
I want to wear my pink pants.
I want to go now.
Prompted by Amanda, Laura came back to reality.
Pink pants, got it.
Laura, can we talk a bit while you get her things ready?
Sure.
The 3 of them packed Amanda's things together. Amanda went to pick a stuffed animal to take, leaving Rafael a moment to talk with Laura. He told her about how Lorena had seen her exhausted, how they were worried that she was secretly very tired despite always smiling at them, and that his mother suggested he marry her.
Laura was shocked.
What? Your mother said that? Her reaction was exactly as Rafael had expected.
He was equally perplexed.
I was surprised at first too. They both laughed.
Of course, I've been keeping it together for Amanda's sake. I always think I have to be strong and keep going. Tears started streaming from Laura's eyes. Raphael figured that, since Miguel passed away, Laura had never confided her struggles to anyone. He offered her his handkerchief. At that moment, Raphael felt a strong desire to support Laura. Maybe his mother's suggestion wasn't so bad after all. Of course, Laura and Amanda's feelings were important. Actually, I think it's a good idea. We know each other's personalities, right? There might be parts we haven't shown yet, but it's better than starting from scratch. Laura looked surprised at Raphael, still with tears in her eyes. But above all, her face was flushed, which was endearing. Are you joking? This is a big step for me and Amanda. I'm not joking. I understand that you're tired now and probably can't think straight. Rest first. Oh, and this is for Mom. Saying this, Raphael handed her an envelope full of money. She asked me to give this to you with a message to use it for your rest. Thank you, your mom. Laura cried a bit more but seemed relieved. You look relieved. I'm glad you can cry. Think about what I said, okay? I never thought of you that way, Raphael, since you were always just my brother-in-law. But now I remember something Miguel said. What did my brother say? He said you were kind and compassionate, and that if anything happened I should trust you, that I could rely on you to take care of me and the baby. I laughed because it seemed so bossy. It seemed like a random comment at the time, but now it makes sense. Raphael laughed at Miguel's foresight. Indeed, it was a bit presumptuous, but Miguel would never trust what he treasured most to someone he didn't trust. At least he trusted me enough to believe I could take care of his wife and child. Raphael laughed to hide the lump in his throat. Bro, you were amazing, so insightful. When Laura laughed, Amanda came back carrying an impossible amount of stuffed animals in her arms and looked extremely satisfied with herself. Amanda's adorable expression made Laura and Raphael laugh. After convincing Amanda to take just one toy, she and Raphael set off for 2 nights of fun. Amanda behaved well, managing to go to the bathroom and change clothes by herself. Having bathed her at his parents' house, Raphael knew there wouldn't be any problems. What surprised him was Amanda's boundless energy. How could a child have so much energy? On the second night, Raphael fully realized the challenges of parenting. At the same time, he deeply respected Laura for doing it all alone. Okay, let's go back to Mommy's house. After making the most of the 2 days and 2 nights, they returned home, where Laura was waiting. Since Raphael had notified her that they were arriving, Laura was waiting in front of the house. Mommy. Amanda waved excitedly from the car window. After parking and opening the door to get her out, she ran straight into Laura's arms, recounting all the adventures. Laura, smiling and listening, looked a bit more energized. Inside the house, Amanda settled into Raphael's lap, making a chair with his arms. Ah, so cute. Raphael smiled naturally while recounting the activities of the past days. Amanda started getting sleepy and a bit cranky when Laura suggested it was bedtime. I want to sleep with Uncle Raphael, not Mommy. Uncle Raphael, hold me. Raphael picked up the grumpy Amanda and asked Laura to prepare the bed. All right, let's sleep. Uncle Raphael will sleep too. He lay down next to Amanda on the bed. Amanda, apparently very tired, talked a bit but soon fell asleep. Watching her serene face as she slept, Raphael thought about how adorable she was and ended up falling asleep too. He was woken up by Amanda patting his face. Wake up. Seeing Raphael jump in surprise, Amanda and Laura burst out laughing. Seriously, I fell asleep? You looked so comfortable sleeping next to Amanda that we didn't want to wake you. I can't believe it. Although I thought I was fine, keeping up with the boundless energy of a 4-year-old for 3 days was apparently exhausting. Uncle Raphael, aren't you going to stay here? Huh? What do you mean by stay here? I want Uncle Raphael to always stay at our house. I want to go out and play again, eat together, and sleep together. I want Uncle Raphael to be my daddy. Amanda, your daddy is. Raphael fell silent, watching carefully. Laura seemed uncertain about how to respond. While she was lost in thought, Amanda pointed to a picture of Miguel. Is it okay to have two daddies? Hearing this, Laura started crying, and Raphael couldn't help but cry too. Seeing this, Amanda looked confused. Mommy, are you hurting somewhere? No, sweetheart, I'm fine. I'm just surprised at how thoughtful you are. Yes, it's okay to have two daddies. Wow, you really are Miguel and Laura's daughter. Raphael wiped away his tears, feeling genuinely moved. Children are incredibly pure, leaping over the complications adults face without a second thought. Uncle Raphael, I want you to be my daddy. Feeling the weight of Amanda's hug, Raphael silently promised to make her and Laura happy in Miguel's name. Of course, this includes both Amanda and Laura. I want Uncle Raphael to be my daddy. Should we ask Mommy? If Miguel were here, he would surely laugh and say, for sure, Raphael. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Let's hug, Mommy and Uncle Raphael. Hug. Amanda pulled Raphael towards Laura for a hug. The three of them were smiling. Amanda kept saying a hug repeatedly, laughing. Raphael promised to protect these smiles.